What up, everybody? I'm leaving the sprawling acres of the grand plantation known as Candyland and headed back to my slave quarters. Apparently, during my travails upon the fields today, yet again the Tupac Biggie Smalls butterfly effect has occurred once again in the hip-hop music industry. Aldolph Robert Thornton Jr. was reportedly shot down today. Shot and killed today. Aldolph Robert Thornton Jr., known to the world as Young Dolph, the stage name, the character name Young Dolph. Now, I'm sure this is absolutely devastating news for the Thornton family. Notably, in my eyes, to his children. I mean, you know, for a child to lose a parent at no matter what age can be devastating. I really don't want this to be. I know it may come off. However it come off, it's got to come off. And even in fact, even with the things I'm going to say, they may very well seem somewhat hypocritical, considering right now, even the music I'm playing right now, you know, the artist I'm playing right now, Future talks about violence and, you know, drug use and womanizing and all types of dysfunction within our community. What I see, now there's it really is not even too much of a marked difference in between both of the situation between Future and Young Dolph. Is that maybe about a year or so, maybe it was a few years ago, there was a situation everybody knows where Mr. Dolph was caught up in a shooting where he titled the EP or the album 100 Shots. Now, for some people to survive even being the target of one bullet, being in the line to fire one bullet, is notable. But for you to be able to say that you survived 100 shots being aimed in your direction, that, in my eyes, should be a time where you should come to a realization, well, I'm extremely blessed, and I have pretty much avoided the jaws of death. Ideally, if you're an artist and you're a very popular artist, and you know the many people that you reach and the type of content in which you produce, and it's just my opinion, because I used to rap myself. And of all the rap songs, I may have, you may rare find a cassette at this point where of stuff I rapped, the songs I wrote. I never got on there talking about shit I wasn't about. You know, I never talked about, I never said I'm going in and pull out the AK-47 and blast whoopty blam. I talked about, you know, small time drug dealing, and I talked about women, but shit. Other than that, I wasn't trying to bring forth the type of scrutiny where I may have to stand in the eye and underneath the light of actual killers. There's a term that a lot of us use, and we use that term when we're speaking in a positive situation, and that term is manifestation. You know, there's something in our life, or a goal, or a dream, or object, or something in which we wish to attain or achieve. We talk about manifest, and not only with, and I think I made before a video, I said the first step to manifest is in the mind, and then you know you get to the point where you make a statement. Well, I am going to I'm going to get a CDL, and you know I called it, I claimed that. In Jesus' name, I claim that I will get this CDL in 6 months. Now, I'm not about to get no CDL. I'm just talking. But you go about bringing forth energy. You know, okay, if I see a truck driver, I might stop and I chat with the truck driver. You know, I look to try to find a big comparison in contrast to what classes or whatever, what kind of aid I can get if I need aid to try to take this class. Because I want to manifest my goal of being a truck driver. Now, I tie this into art. Now, with art, you know, and we'll talk about it, you know, because a lot of people said back then that because I come from the era, the Tupac era. I was in my 20s, you know, when Tupac was popular. And we always used to say, well, Tupac, he called his death. He was prophetic. He was prophetic because he was skipping. If we all remember, back then, that was during the height, during the rawest of the crack eras and the gang eras. And the popular thing the popular statistic was, by the age of 25, a young black male is either dead or in prison. You know, there are more black men in prison than in college and blah, blah, blah. So, as time goes on, you start hearing about the big L's getting shot and, you know, the Soldier Slims, and, you know, it gets to the point now, it's like, that's regular. You know, it's not something that might necessarily be a surprise to have him be tragic, and you have people who have emotional responses because, of course, the man's music touched you emotionally. It's not necessarily that you knew him personally; it's that his music and the things that he said probably touched you, or you related to them. No matter whether you may have been a drug dealer, a killer, a womanizer, however you play the game. Now, my problem is that even on up to just I guess this last week or so, you had, if anybody saw that Soulja Boy interview on 106 Park, the radio show with Charlotte Mangy and Angela Wee, and you know the light skinned Hispanic guy, I don't know what, DJ Envy. He was over there they was over there talking about, well, I'm independent, and you know, and you know, you sign, and they argue back and forth, and you know, and the thing about that is that, you know, there's never the discussion. Well, if the discussion didn't go well, Mr. Dolph, I am Soulja Boy, and I've been in the game for a while. I came in the game young. I know a lot about the game, and you may think that you're independent, but let me explain to you and help walk you through it. But what it always is for us black people, and it's all underneath the code. People don't pay no attention to Neely, but Neely Fuller Jr., but all this stuff, you can always mirror it against the code. The code states that black people are toxic. And that if not for the sake of coming together to solve problems, then black people need to stay away from each other. And that comes in, you know, like, what about parties and holiday gatherings? Now, if you spend any of your holiday gatherings and Easters, and when I'm talking about Easter, Thanksgivings and Christmases and family situations like that, you know, once the liquor starts flowing, or once the right person comes to the affair, there's going to be some toxicity entered into the dynamic. So I say this to say, I could easily say, what y'all say, oh, he coning it up, but don't see anybody on that black, what about black on black time? But the thing about it ain't the white. When it comes with us, you know, I can understand the offense and so on and so forth coming from the white. When Mr. Man says, when the white man says it, because hey, you know, if we tied into the way this whole system is set up, you know, they got to understand that it was their forefathers that built this system and made it uneven the way it is, to where we have to go and do things and participate in practices that are pretty much destructive and genocidal to our people as a whole. So let's go back to the music. After he made a whole album or EP or what have you about, okay, I got shot at 100 times. Now, as opposed to the direction going forward with his music, well, I'm making redemption, I'm trying to clean, you know, he rapping about, well, making a transition. I've been blessed to be off from the grace of the steps of death. He didn't necessarily change course with it. And, you know, okay, I can understand if your toes were still in it, which I really don't understand which I really wouldn't understand if someone of the caliber of Dolph, if his hands were still in the dirt. Why would they be? You got today, they say that where he drove to where he got shot at in a Lamborghini. Now I don't know what neighborhood he went to. I don't know whether it was, because we know if anybody who's ever been to Memphis, or anybody who lives near Memphis or have any history or knowledge of Memphis, Memphis is a wild ass town. You know, y'all seen First 48. So, right, and then you have to couple that with the fact that whether I don't know what your politics, what your politician and your news is trying to tell you, but it's some real harsh times going on right now. And even up here with the robbing season, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that throws me off from what I read, it didn't even look like a robbery situation. What it looked like is that somebody was after him. And, you know, it's been years, and what makes it so bad, they called me, rest in peace, my boy Lawrence Garrett. They used to say, they call Memphis Crab Bucket. You know, and of course we say, well, who put the crabs in the bucket? That's another topic. But he called it Crab Bucket because, you know, even within a city that, you know, it's a nice sized city, but it's not a huge city. You know, the few acts that were getting on, they couldn't necessarily get along or stick together. There was always some type of beef or turmoil. And even with the beef and turmoil between the acts, you know, you also have the people down there. You know, like once again, First 48 got a whole lot of got a big bag of reporting on Memphis. So, Mr. Dolph, my music, my mother phone had died, but we still gonna ride. So Mr. Dolph, oh wait a minute, never mind. So Mr. Dolph, shit. Mr. Thornton. Mr. Thornton, he chose to stick the course creatively with his music. And then we're gonna go back to the manifestation. So once you seems like once you get a few commas, I'm just gonna say, okay, I can't speak for him. Once I got a few commas, once I get a few commas, there are certain places I'm not going. There are certain people that I'm going to leave behind. There are certain topics and things and people, places, and things, we'll repeat it, that I will no longer embrace. Because if I was in a place that was toxic and violent and dangerous, once I had the opportunity to get away from it, why would I want to linger? So now, it's once again, it's like, anytime after 96, and they don't necessarily say too much about Biggie, because, wow, I don't understand why they don't really make the same comparison with Biggie they make with Pac. Oh, this remind me of Pac. He got, he died now, he the Pac of this generation now. Funny thing about it is that now it just seems like that cycle of the replacement Pac, the cycle of time is getting smaller and smaller. First it might have been 10 years, then it goes to 7, then it goes to 5, then it goes to 3, then 2, and then maybe the next year after that. The thing about it is, no. These stories, don't make these just because they was rappers and, they rapped about a certain topic. It's not because they like Pac. It's because like Pac, they were a statistic. A statistic of another black male kill statistic, and this statistic started it really amped itself up. I'm not gonna say that niggas didn't kill themselves in the 70s or the 60s, even before that, but it really got to ramping itself up, in the 80s. And in the 80s, that's when the gang, when the South Central movies came, and the Colors movies came, and the Banging and Little Rock, and, and even with that type of stuff, I thought about that. And, we always say, well, you can't tie this into white supremacy, and you can't tie this into the propaganda on white supremacy. Do you remember the first time I ever came associated with gangs, and it was somewhat a comical type of situation? It was like, the old heads might remember, Sha-Na-Na, or the fucking movie Olivia Newton-John and the Italian Grease, and Happy Days. Hey, it's the Fonz. Fonzie was the tough guy Italian that was a Jewish actor. So we grow up and we start embracing, us 70 babies and early 80 babies, we grow up embracing this, now black folks got gangs, and we gotta be harder, we gotta show that we better at it than the white folks. We can't never necessarily show we better at something academic or something constructed like architecture, even though historically we have been, but that's beside the point. In modern times, we can't make the comparison that we're better than them in industry. We always have to embrace the most dysfunctional area of the dominant society and amplify it to the point where they can turn around at us and look at us like we're the reason why, that we're the cause of our dysfunction, and they have no idea how this type of poison got injected into us, even though underneath, once I say all the time, underneath the system of white supremacy, we are the prisoners and the white supremacist is the warden. When is is young Dolph today? Who's tomorrow? Well, from what I've heard through the grapevine, Young Gotti and Black Youngster, Yo Gotti's mama's restaurant got shot up, and I guess young youngster, his mama house got shot up. Now, let's say, for example, it was somebody, innocent people eating in this restaurant, or his mama or his relatives in that house, and they get shot. So thus the cycle of genocidal violence and unnecessary death continues. But what about black on black crime? You coon, shut your black silly ass up. So we're gonna cry. We're gonna cry for. We will probably play Young Dolph on repeat over and over again, much like we played DMX when he OD'd on his drugs, and much like we played old Nipsey, rest in peace, Aramis. Rest in peace, Earl Simmons. Rest in peace, Aldolph, Robert Thornton Jr. Because the other characters, these stage names and these rap character names are what they are. They're characters. And you know, when you have a machine behind your character, because your character is what puts you in a position to make your bag. You have whoever put that bag in your hand has expectation for you. So now they want to keep you working. Yeah, make these songs. No, we're not gonna put that out. We're gonna hold this. So don't be surprised. Now they're gonna be how many? Ain't telling how many posthumous Young Dolph albums they're going to be now. You know. So because hey, the saying goes, he worth more dead than he was alive. Yeah, that's what he said about Pocket when he died. He worth more dead than he was alive. Somehow I don't think it's going to be a day-long funeral for brother Thornton. You know, where you know, you have some of the our prominent black celebrities and leaders, old and new, coming and speaking and singing and you know, that right there, you know, we don't have nobody else that the dominant side will allow us to shut down their regularly scheduled programming, you know, aside from old civil right retreads and, you know, bootlicks in disguise. We don't have any type of figures in which we can celebrate like that anymore. Aretha Franklin, yeah, and she deserved the services that she received. But then again, I don't necessarily want to see a long service like that, a long, mournful service like that, because all that does is continue to psychologically tear into the self-confidence, the self-esteem, the motivations of the youth. And you have one side, you got to be Mr. Tough Guy. You got to pack this, that, and the third, because this is what the focus of the popular is. Either sling pot or you got a wicked jump shot. Rest in peace, Aldolph, Robert Thornton Jr. Well, young Dolph, I guess he'll live on, much like Tupac lived on, much like shoot up. Well, I don't know. You know, I'm sure that in California they may play Nipsey. You know, it seemed like but for me, I knew who Nipsey was, but I also knew there wasn't nobody really outside of California West Coast, at least in my area, in the South and up here, wasn't nobody paying Nipsey Hussle like that. It wasn't until he died, until he was martyrized. It wasn't until he was killed by another member of the gang in which he claimed and he stood on. Yeah, because he was killed by, you know, he wasn't killed by, you know, just an opposing gang member or just or a white supremacist. He was killed by a member of his sect. Do you realize, I mean, and it's not even imagine what the white folks, even looking at it yourself, do you see how pathetic and how to dismay of what our ancestors, you know, we have a level of freedom our ancestors could only dream in a few hours of sleep they had before they had to get up and walk out there and get back there and start picking that damn cotton again. We have the ability to live without fear of the lash on the more adjacent, on the more close fence. You know, we like I say, this is still a prison system. The white supremacy system of white supremacy is a prison system without bars, because whenever it comes to resources or whatever
commissary you may need, you're gonna look which way did the white people go. I need to get my education. Well, which way did the white people? I need to look for the white people so they can help me get my education. I want to start a business. I'm gonna start me a black business. Well, shoot, I got to go downtown and file some paperwork. Well, which way did the white people go? I don't know, man. Rest in peace, Aldolph Robert Thornton Jr. May God have mercy on your family. May your spirit protect your children. But I don't know. You know, of course, it's all part for the course for, you know, the people want to feel like they want part of the fad. Because like I said earlier in the video, how social media makes people a bunch of fucking lemmings. We're going to hear, oh, rest in peace, young Dolph. Oh, I'm so sad. Let me share a YouTube clip of a young Dolph song. Ugh. That shit, man. That shit played, B. And what's even more played is steadily having to hear about another black person killed. Especially a successful black person who didn't necessarily have to be killed. Okay, bro, they say the brother, you know, he give out turkeys every year. Oh, God. So, and even in something that, you know, I'm sure that the Negroes, African Americans, peoples of color, and the nigger folk like myself, they love a free turkey. But this shit, we going back to your boy just died, Alpo and Money Mitch and shit. What's the guy from the Queens? You know them old kingpins and the Pope. We gonna give our turkeys to the Pope. Once a year, y'all give turkeys to the crack families in which, you know, to the crackheads and they kids in which, you know, they can't afford to get no turkey they damn self because they just spent all their money on the ape. Black people, what we gonna do? Black people, what we gonna do? We the real black people, please stand up. That's the song, and that's a poem from the last poets that's damn near almost 60 motherfuckers. Well, no, it's from the 70s. 50, almost 50 years old. Well, actually 50 years old. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like there's more I could say, but do I need to say anything else? It ain't gonna bring Dolph back, and it probably ain't gonna stop another nigga from getting killed this very night in this very city in which I live. It's sad, man. And yet still everybody wants to come together. Come together to do fucking what? Nobody nobody says, okay, why have a solution to this problem first? Now let's come together and put forth the solution to the problem. We just supposed to come together and stand around and look each other in the motherfucking face and cry tears and talk about the sad days and the happy days of those who came and went before us. So I'm gonna go in here. Since I just left Candyland, I want to fix my supper. Because hey, like I said, I did my little small time shit. You know, I wasn't out here toting pistols and all that stuff. But hey, I didn't necessarily run into the type of funk that I would need to have to be brandishing hold my tool all the time. Because I knew to stay out the fucking way, and I knew not to be on rah-rah shit. I sincerely hope that Mr. Dolph, Mr. Thornton, in his heart and soul, he didn't constantly go and continue the rah-rah shit even after he escaped the jaws of death. That can only be answered by Mr. Thornton, I imagine. But I do know one thing, that we have a race of babies that are now hating ladies and making the babies that hate. How the old Pakistan, that's prophetic, but then again, that's also biblical. The sins of the fathers will be brought upon the sons. I don't know what y'all think. My comment section is open. I'm glad that people come through now and fuck with me on a level that I hadn't been being fucked with in the beginning. Even though I see 2 people in the room, I know some people that came through. I don't know where Charles at. What's up, Auntie? What up, Greg, man? Appreciate you coming through. Shouts out to Miss Harper. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it, man. Rest in peace, Robert. No, pardon me, let me say it correctly. Rest in peace, Aldolph Robert Thornton Jr. May the Creator and the ancestors guide your spirit, and may the Creator and may the Creator and ancestors protect us all. Cause we got 100 shots. I spoke on it, man. I spoke about manifestation. You know, just cause you dodge 100, it don't mean that it ain't gonna take one more, 101. That don't mean that 101st one won't knock you down. And that's what apparently is happening on this day today. Rest in peace, Aldolph Robert Thornton Jr. Stage name, character name, Young Dolph. Y'all take care now. Y'all be safe. Take care of your children. Plant positive seeds in your children. Teach your children to read. Don't get your kids out in front of them damn games all day. Get your kids outside. Let them get some air. Teach them how to be enterprising. You know, put something in them. You know. That's all I got for y'all, man. Peace and love. Read what you saw. Show enough.